ability. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. There is a thing that I can change the background, maybe, or you just get to see my fucking nieces and nephews upside down. Weird.
Yeah,
uh,
man.
can,
Go
can
to classic fridge in the background, man.
hey, listen. I live a mile from the beach. Okay, like that's the things that we have to give up.
Wait, do you really?
Space.
Do you
Yeah,
really live right? Dude,
yeah.
where at?
So, Santa Monica.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. Like, are you
Yeah.
walking distance? This is the pier or something?
Everything is walking distance if you're ambitious enough. uh, do I? I don't have a green screen. Do I have a background? Okay, we're working on this here. There we go. Hold on, I got you. There we
Oh
go.
shit, you're in the hood now.
No, this is Red Auerbach from the great Boston Celtics legend.
Oh
Uh,
fuck yeah, dude.
yeah, because
Uh,
I'm that guy.
Well, dude, man, the first you're like one of the first people I met when I was doing open mics in LA. Like
Was that your
last
first open mic that I met you at?
No, no, that wasn't my first, but you're like one of the first people I connected with after a show. No,
Cool.
I think that was like my fourth or fifth. I mean, I've been doing it on and off for 10 years, but I really locked in 2024. Because I just always really wanted to fucking do it, man, and just like enough putting it on the back. Just fucking going
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Good. Yeah, I mean that comedy is that thing where you could get what you put into it. You're not going to get more than what you don't put into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, um, I think that this was the year that I kind of understood everything Kobe Bryant ever said of just like getting up in the morning, getting your practice in before practice, and then getting your practice in after practice. And
Hmm.
um, LA is that crazy place where people don't like the $5 mics, but that like the fact that you can get an open mic at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. and 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and then 5 o'clock, then you can go do a show and you've already had 6, 7 sets. Like that's beautiful. You can't get that really anywhere else.
Do they do those in New York too?
I don't think so. Not at least not to the scale that we see it. I mean, there's 3 or 4 places, 5 places that you can do that at here in LA. Like,
Oh yeah, I think even more than that.
yeah. So I think that's beautiful. I do think it is that weird thing where you do need to be somewhat good at it. Like you can't just not know how to play basketball and then go to the gym and work out. Like but once you get to a certain level of like, oh, I understand kind of what's funny. I have an idea. Like then you can go hard. Like I do 10 to 15 sets in a week, minimum. And then some on the heavy side that's 20, 25. And that is like, you know, you're not going to be able to do that really anywhere else.
Yeah. So what's your writing process like? You just let it come to you? Do you kind of like have time where you sit down?
That's, I'm so I've challenged myself to write every day, and I think that's like, oh, everyone should write every day, but it's like I'm actually writing down the progress. So I'm on day, you can't really read it, but it's day 76
Okay.
of just writing 30 to 40 minutes a day, and the process really is at 8 o'clock in the morning. I sit down and I don't get up until about 9 o'clock, and throughout the day I'll just scribble like little notes, like little things where I'm just like, oh, hold on, let's say something. Oh, it's a new one. It's just something stupid like, oh, parents don't understand because they don't live, whatever the little thing is, and then I'll expound upon it for 20, 30 minutes. But really sitting down and dedicating time, like, yeah, writing is like stand up where we think it's the same thing, but it's not. It's like you
Yeah.
literally
The
have to
whole
put
yeah.
the time writing and you have to put time in actually doing the stand up. So
Yeah.
today I'll write for 30 minutes and then I will try some of it tonight. Like that's really the point. You can't just keep on doing your same stuff.
Well, there's like a few select comics that don't need to write that they can just get on stage. That's so hard to freaking do, though. You know what I mean?
But yeah, so you have to look at like outliers. They're just some people that are just naturally funny.
Yeah.
And Kobe Bryant says like hard work is going to beat talent every single time.
Yeah.
And I really,
Not just hard work, but smart work and consistency and persistence. You know what I mean? Just like constantly just not fucking stopping, you know?
I think, I think the word really is honest work. Like
Yeah.
you can work hard, you can, but if you're not honest with yourself, like this joke is fucking horrible. Like, but you're like, no, but I like it. I'm gonna work it. It's gotta be something. It's like, be honest with yourself. It's fucking horrible. You know, like we don't need another dead baby abortion joke, no matter how slick you think you are. Like, be honest with yourself. And I think yeah, a lot of us are just not honest. I'm not honest with myself a lot. I try to be, but I think honesty really will set you free.
Yeah, and you can't be afraid to fail forward too in front of people. You know what I mean? That only makes you I mean you could figure out a completely different premise just by doing that, you know.
So part of my writing process, and this is the crazy thing. Um, I will fill a notebook, right? I get to the end of the notebook, and then I put it on a shelf. This is crazy, right? Fill the notebook, put it on a shelf. Start the next notebook, fill that second. So I've got two full notebooks, and then what I do is on the third notebook, I take the first notebook down, and then
Hmm.
I go through it, and then I just go, okay, that's something good, and I'll write it on a new page of the new notebook, and then go through it, and I'm just literally transcribing all of the good stuff, the stuff that I know what to do with now, and
That probably helps you memorize it too, just rewriting it, you know.
but I think that our brains work in a way that we have the premise, we just don't have the skill set to make this work. So it's like, oh, I need to put this, I need to write a note to my future self, my better comedian self. And 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 as I go through my old notebook, so on the third notebook it gets filled. The fourth notebook, I go through the first and the second again. I literally go through that first notebook again, and I find
Hmm.
something else and go, oh, I know what to do with this now. And then the second one, and then I'm just so now I'm going through. I shit you not, I'm probably going through like 20 notebooks every time I get a new notebook. And it's going to the point where that new notebook is almost filled with old premises that I know how to reword and know, like, oh, this is actually a tagline for this joke. And it's really just reviewing all of your shit. It's
Dude,
psycho.
dude, I love that COVID album you did, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
That's a really funny premise in itself, you know.
Um, so that's it. So I don't know if I'll ever admit this, but it's sort of the cheat code, right? You go, oh, I want to film a special. And you go, okay, well, fill a room. Like, ah, fuck, I don't think I can fill a room. Well, COVID came, and then it was like, it was part of like, oh, I can do it now, and I don't have to worry about filming a room. And the way I filmed it was wonkier than I wanted it to be because I took it as like, okay, let's get a couple bits out, and then let's redo the bits. Let's redo the bits. Like I do it like acting, right? Like let's take a couple takes and then you have enough to figure out which parts you want.
Okay.
Probably not the best way to do comedy. I figured that out now.
Dude, I love the Black Superman joke, man. I think that's a really strong one.
Yeah, that one it upsets a lot of people.
I mean, what's the worst reaction you've gotten? You had the whole crowd turn on you, or just a few people?
I've had I've had somebody. Here's the thing. I think we're in a position now that like
Well,
people
let me
get
ask you this: is it only white people that are getting offended?
yes.
How did I know?
Well, it's like I would take it into consideration if I felt that the people that are upset are comic book nerds, like people that like live and breathe comic books, like because that's their shit. If they were upset about it, you go, okay, okay, maybe they have something, but people who just like, nope, Christopher Reeve, like if Superman only comes in four flavors, it's Christopher Reeves, it's like fucking Henry Cavill, if it's just those guys, then I don't want to hear about it because I make enough points to where you go, okay, that makes sense. Like that's the point. My job is not to convince you, but just be like, huh, I didn't see it
Well,
that way.
I think if you're slightly offended too, when you say that he gets shot at a lot, I think that kind of wins a lot of people over. You know, what I mean, that's kind of like the crossover line, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that if for me, for my comedy specifically, I give you enough data to convince you that I'm just not trying to do it for shock. Like,
Yeah.
um, and
Yeah.
and and if you get upset, that's like, oh, you weren't listening. You heard the one thing, and you're like, nope, and you shut up. You didn't give me time to like explain it.
Yeah, I always love comics that can just mix shock value with really good writing. Like Louis C.K. was the freaking king of that. You know what I mean? Like it would be
Yeah,
shocking, but it'd also be really well thought out and really funny and smart.
and I think watching Louis C.K. That's kind of where I learned is like I don't have to convince you. Like you don't have to agree, but I just give you enough where you go, huh? I never saw it that way. I don't agree with it, but I never saw it that way. Like, great, I won half of that battle. I'm okay with that.
I mean, that's why I loved it. Have you ever studied like Andy Kaufman stuff at all?
A little bit. It was very like performance art, right? It was like really like let's get uncomfortable and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, he wasn't really about making people laugh. He wanted to just twist people's reality and make people realize that the reality they live in might not actually be real. So he just wanted to fuck with people's heads, and I fucking love that too. Norm definitely had a side to that too. Like he was funny, but he also wanted to kind of challenge you a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, especially now, to change people's perception. Like I don't like fucking with people because people don't pay to be fucked with. Like if like when people watch prank shows, like hey, this to watch a show is going to cost you $100, or you could be on the show. People will go, I will pay the $100 to watch it. I will not be on that show. Like people don't want to be fucked with. They want to watch people get fucked with. And yeah, I don't want to be fucked with, like uh so yeah, I'm always cautious about fucking with people.
Well, I don't mean like I just mean like fucking with their perception of reality, not really fucking with their
Uh
beliefs or anything.
Gotcha,
Like dude,
gotcha.
he literally just sat on stage one time and just ate ice cream for 5 minutes and stared at the audience, and it was
uh,
fucking hysterical.
I heard that he brought a record player and played like the Mighty Mouse soundtrack, like
Yeah,
the theme song.
and he would lip sync it.
Yeah, and then it went over, and then he just started over the beginning. He did exactly the same thing. He just did this like for 20 minutes or something.
Man, so I want to ask you, what's your goal with comedy, man? Like what? Because I so many comics do it for different reasons. Like, what's your personal goal?
uh I tell people all the time I failed at the comedy. Everything else I've done in my life, I was successful at, and then I just started to like
Yeah, but
now.
I feel like saying that you failed at it. Like if you change that perception, you'll start going in the other direction. A lot of it is I mean, thoughts are powerful, man. Words are powerful.
What I'm saying is like all the other like all my office jobs I was successful at, and then I just kind of gave up on. So where comedy kind of was the last thing that
Mm.
I was like, oh, I can actually do this, but it, it's long, it's hard, it's unforgiving. Like nobody in their right mind. Like if I were to tell you about comedy. Like that's why I don't talk to a lot of new comics. Like if they ask, if like I do my best, to be like, yeah, it's fun. It's challenging. Because if you were to sit down and be like, listen, you're gonna miss a lot of events. You're gonna miss a lot of family shit. You're gonna like when your girlfriend wants to go out and you have a set, and then she goes to the set and she goes, oh my god, you would rather do 5 minute comedy in front of three people as opposed to go on a date with me. Like you're going to have these hard conversations for comedy. Um, if I had known that I would be 13 years in and still like trying to get my bearings under me, I legitimately would probably have gone to law school.
Man, really.
It's I would be a lawyer by now. Who goes to school for 14 years and not become whatever they like
Everybody now.
true, true. But we're talking about 14 years ago, right? Yeah, like at
I
least
just well I think I was going more at like a moral perspective. Like some comics, like man, like I'm kind of like I love doing it, and it's something I'm going to be doing forever. But like, I want to do it to like even when I got into songwriting and I was wrote for country radio for a little bit, I did it. I want to like help people, and I know some
Mm.
comedians are like, oh, that's pretentious. I just want to do it to fucking get laid or whatever, you know. But I want to fucking make people laugh and fucking spread positivity and make people think a little differently, or at least fucking attempt to, you know. I think that's important, you know. And a lot of
Yeah,
comics just care about getting laid and getting paid, you know.
yeah. Well, what? Yeah. Once you get married, I guess getting laid isn't really a thing anymore.
So, a lot of the married ones though still care too much about the getting paid part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um. I think yeah. Again, going back into so a couple portions of that where you go, yeah, you go 12, 15 years in, and you just you expected it to be different. Like
Yeah,
that's
but here's the thing though, man. Over because I know from the music business, comedy business, from a lot of people I talk to, it's overnight success. Like it'll take years, but then all of a
yeah.
sudden, all it takes is one fucking video, one fucking thing, and then all of a sudden, those 30 years paid off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but music is different in that way where you could have a hit song.
No. I'm specifically talking about comedy too. Like Rodney was
Oh
saying
yeah,
that
yeah,
when I was talking to him last night. He's been a comic for like 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden during COVID, boom. You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
Fucking
The thing about Nate Bargatze that people don't really know, like, he won the Boston Comedy Festival in like '08 or something. He'd been around and he was like on the cusp kind of forever. And then COVID happened and he went from here and then just shot up. So yeah, if you were to ask me my honest opinion, like as a new comic being like, so what is it gonna take? And I'm like, you're gonna eat shit for at the very best case scenario, 10 years.
yeah. That's why you got to do it just because you love it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You
And
really have to love it.
Gary V says that all the time
I
in
love
a
him, dude.
it's like you have to love eating shit. Like
Yeah,
it's not the laughs, it's
yeah,
not the jokes, it's not, the money, it's not getting laid. Like you literally have to love the eating of the shit. When you eat the shit, then everything else kind of follows, but you have to love this because you'll be doing this kind of forever.
exactly.
Yeah. So when I first started 15 years ago, 14 years ago, it was like, oh, I'm I am in a scenario where I see things in a very specific way and other people see it like me, but nobody is talking about it. So, like being Asian, but Asian American, being from Boston, being like, I'm not first generation Chinese American. I don't really relate to having a real Asian mom. So, and I realized like, oh, there's people like that. So when I first started, like, oh, let me be a voice of the people that are unheard. And now it's like, let me just not have to work at Best Buy.
Man, what's your take on that? Forgive me, I don't know his name, but that Asian comic that kind of started shit with Hinchcliffe and tried to get him canceled like 5 years ago.
um, okay, so his name
Because
is
it got blew out of proportion. Like they were kind of friendly, and then he made it look like it was an attack.
so the comic you're asking about, his name's Pang Dang. And
That's really his name.
that's really his name. I don't know him personally, so let me stay away from that. I don't know his set, but what I will say is, in comedy, you kind of have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them,
and
and
know who to trust, know who not to say stuff in front of.
I don't like the. Well, okay, first and foremost, he should have known that like nobody was going to turn on Tony Hinchcliffe. People who don't like Tony already don't like him. People that love him, they
Yeah.
love him for that exact reason. That's like Superman saves lives. Yeah, Superman saves lives. And you're like, yeah, Superman fucking saves lives. What did you think it was going to happen? But I guess Tony was having him open for him fairly often. And I don't know. I felt like that whole thing was try to like a get rich scheme that did not work for him.
You said Superman saved lives. I was thinking of imagine Bill Burr. Does he really? Does he really? He
That's
just
really
rides around in a fucking cape. Does he really fucking save lives if he's bedded in a fucking ambulance?
fucking brutal, brutal.
Dude, he's one of my favorite comics, man. He's that famous Philly incident. You know about that?
Yeah, of course. That was popular when I first started doing comedy, and that was like, oh, you want to know what comedy's like? Watch this. And
And he was kind of doing it because he felt really bad that the other legendary comics were being shit on, you know. So he was kind of just taking it all out on the fucking audience, you know.
that's I don't say that's prime Bill, but that's like his villain arc, right? That was like him. He seems to have tamed out since he's had a kid, and you just get old at some point. But you
Yeah.
know, there was a great time where Bill Burr was just a menace, just
Well,
a menace.
he kind of calmed down a little bit too. Yeah, he used to be just filled with rage,
Yeah.
hilarious rage.
Listen, we're gonna fuck it.
Dude, what do you ever venture into dark comedy?
Explain and maybe.
Like like no like I just love Norm's way of doing dark comedy, man. Like it was so like he would kind of sometimes he would take you down. He would fuck with you all the time. Sometimes he would take you down the rabbit hole and there'd be no punchline. And that's the
Yeah.
purpose of the joke, you know? Like he would bomb on purpose sometimes. Have you ever seen anyone doing that?
I mean, Norm is that outlier. He was a great. He's one of the greats, writing wise, performance wise. But yeah, I mean, I love that joke about the moth at the doctor's office, and it's just like this
Oh
long.
yeah.
It's just long and drawn out. In the punchline, it was like, "So why are you here? Because the light was on. Because he's a moth, you know." But that's so niche. Like that is so. Norm is like he's a comics comic. He's the guy that most not comedy fans may not know, and that's sad. But that's just because that's you know he's doing like high end trig, you know, where we're just like where are the dick jokes, and he's just doing like this 4-dimensional chess game. And
Well, I just love that. Like all this material dealt with like cancer and fucking heart attacks and just death and fucking
I love Anthony Jeselnik
yeah, he's hilarious.
because he's basically a one-liner, right? Like he's absurd. You don't believe anything he says. You know that every word is important. He sets it up, and you're surprised that you did not see it coming. Like,
Yeah.
how did I not see that coming? I know it's going to take the worst turn, and it turns even worse, and you didn't see it coming, and it's beautiful.
But I feel like any comic can be that outlier if they fucking really dive into their authentic self, you know, because like those are the best ones, the comics that just completely just do their own thing and they're not trying to be a new Robin Williams. They're not trying to be a new, you know what I mean? They're not trying to copy
Yeah,
someone, you know. Like
it's
Anthony
it's
Jeselnik is so freaking original, you know. I mean, no one else does it like that.
yeah. I think the problem is us, right? It's not the comics that can't be their authentic self. I think it's the audience. We very much need to compare, contrast in order to understand. So, for example, like if I was to explain a movie to you, you'd be like, "Listen, I'm not going to go through the plot. Of like it's like Die Hard meets Fast and the Furious meets fucking Moana," and you go, okay, that sounds interesting. And I'll watch it and you go, you're right. It was very much like those things. But when you get this like really artsy piece that's not like anything else, you sit there and you go like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Yeah. 3 hours later, it's like this art piece. I don't know what happened. Um, so as a
That's
lot of
kind of how I felt after I watched Napoleon Dynamite the first time, man. I ended up loving it, but the first time I was like, "What the fuck was that?" You know?
if you watch any Will Ferrell movie, it starts off great, super quotable, and in the end, you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" They just like wrap it up in a sentence. You're like, "I don't get it."
Dude,
Uh,
his most underrated movie was that the Kicking and Screaming when he's a soccer coach for his
that
son
is
with
funny. I
and
like that one.
Mike Ditka with coaches with
Yeah.
him.
What's the one with Mark Wahlberg in their police officers?
Oh yeah, the other guys or the good guys, one of those other guys.
That is my favorite for no fucking reason. Like Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock just jump off of like a 20-story building. Like, like what? You know what time it is, and they just jump. You're like, I don't get what's going on, but that shit is hilarious.
So man, how many do you have any shows coming up?
Yeah, I got like 20 shows that you booked me on. So you know when keep that going. Fuck it. I've got a wine bar. I got a wine bar in Van Nuys on Ventura coming up this weekend. I don't know who's
Would you
coming
really?
to it. Yeah, it's the Aftermath bar on the 26th. Um,
Wait, is it in Ventura or on Ventura?
It's on Ventura in Van Nuys.
Okay.
I would wish it was in Ventura. Like that is gives you a
so,
reason to go out there.
so man, according to you, who's killing it right now in comedy? Who's like who's someone that you look at going, I kind of want to. I like the way they're paving their own way. That would be fuck. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a good fucking example of.
There's like a lot of I don't know what the right word is, but these young black guys that are kind of nerdy. That like I kind of enjoy that vibe just in general. Opie, his Instagram's like Opie Jokey. He's fucking hilarious. Um, so I'm a 44-year-old man. Okay, let me start off there. 44 years old, and I get a kick out of all of the shit that was nerdy, all the shit that we get beat up for, and accosted. Like if you went to school with a Star Wars T-shirt on, you were not getting out of that locker. But the fact that all the cool kids, like it's so cool to talk about anime and all of these things, and they're so confident in it. Like I applaud it. So any of these like under 30 young black guys that are talking about anime, I don't get it, but I love the confidence and they're just doing their own thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't have that in me.
Man, well, what do you see yourself in comedy in the next portion, next chapter?
If I don't kill myself, I'd say at this rate, a fucking cruise ship. I don't. Uh, yeah, I would say it's difficult. It's really difficult when you realize that some of the industry has nothing to do with you. Like it has.
Yeah, but fuck them all, man. It just starts with intention, man. You just gotta fucking put your heart and soul and fuck everyone else. Don't pay attention to anything, you know. That's what my
It's
favorite comics just basically did just stayed out of the community of comedy. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
ain't got to
So
worry about people stealing jokes and shit.
comedy is great where you can do comedy and make more money than you would working an office job, kind of forever, and no one will know you. Like there are those lanes, right? So especially with places like I come from New England, and I know that every TGI Fridays, every fucking Binnigan's has comedy, and you can actually make a living just never leaving New England.
Yeah.
And but I would say that as long as my quality of life and my pay are high, I would be okay with it because you can only do this for so long. I love doing it and I would do it for free, but at some point you can't just do it, keep doing it for free, if that makes any sense.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great to be able to make money and not be fucking that known. You know what I mean? Because like fame, like I knew a guy that was a Tom Jones impersonator, and he would make $1 million a year going on these rich people parties and cruises because they fuck all the old ladies, rich ladies love him. You know, $1 million
Yeah.
a year. No one knows who he is. He's an impersonator.
I heard that's not unusual.
I wish I had a button like zing.
I wish I knew another Tom Jones. That's what's up, Pussycat. I'm just saying. Whoa, whoa! I don't know any other Tom Jones songs.
It's not unusual one hit. I mean, that was so natural, man.
But so as a comic, I look at like the music business. I think we had this conversation where being a musician just sounds horrible, right? Where you get you get a one hit wonder, right? You're Vanilla Ice, and maybe you're an artist, right? You're like, oh, I've got all of these bangers, and nobody gives a dick about your new shit. They're just sitting through all of your set just to hear Ice Ice Baby. But you got to do Ice Ice Baby forever. I don't care if you've made $1 million. Like, I just don't want to do Ice Ice Baby tonight. And they're like, no, you have to do. We're paying you for Ice Ice Baby tonight. And you're like, fuck. Like that sounds like hell. That sounds like torture.
I kind of feel like one hit wonders don't exist though. Yeah, because like that one, he stole the whole fucking song. Like if someone's truly talented, they're never one hit. And if it is, a lot of times it's corporate reasons. They piss the wrong person off at the radio station, you know?
Yeah, but could you imagine like okay, okay, so I was watching a documentary on Journey, and this was like right
Oh god.
before Arnel came the Filipino lead singer, right? This is
Yeah, that
right
guy,
before him.
the guy who does a lot of fucking drugs and almost quit the band like a couple months ago.
I mean, if you're not doing drugs, why are you in a rock band
Heavy,
like that? Yeah,
heavy. I mean, his brother went to prison for like crystal meth, selling crystal meth.
dope. But so when you're watching this documentary, it's like they are at a state fair. Like they're at a state fair and they're not even headlining. They're like with White Snake and fucking the Rembrandts and I don't know, like other people where you're just like, oh my God. And then they get Arnell and then they're touring. But could you imagine just doing little beach casinos and state fairs and you have to do Don't Stop Believing? It's like faithfully and Don't Stop Believing. Like, can we do something else? No. Faithfully fucking forever. Like that sounds like hell.
Yeah, but and then there's a lot of artists like Neil Young and Dave Matthews that refuse to play their hits, and they get a different audience that way. They get an audience that
Yeah.
really likes them. You know what I mean?
But if you're doing state fairs, that is your jam. You
Yeah,
just travel the
yeah.
summers for state fairs, and you're like, you don't have any legs to be like, we're not doing Don't Stop Believing. We're gonna do all of the songs from our new album. They're like, we don't know you had a new album. Like cruel and unusual punishments. Like, Lloyd, you have to do this Batman joke forever. Like, I don't even like it that much.
Man, have you ever thought about expanding on that Superman joke and making that even longer?
Um, I have, and I think that's kind of where I am with a lot of things. Is like I'm really good at coming up with premises and like entry points, but like adding the beef to the joke. But especially when it comes to race and religion, I do my best to just hit them with jabs and get out because if not, people get offended, and if I leave too much out there, it can get sideways pretty quickly. So that's why when I do the joke, it's like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that, and I'm out. Um,
I love walking that. Religion's the one thing I'll offend people with because that's the whole point of Jesus. He'd be offending all these people that are Christians, and Christianity is the entire point that he was trying to make that you shouldn't be fucking doing. So
but
yeah,
nobody wants
there's
to
a
hear. But nobody wants to hear that shit, right? Because
but
like,
if it's a funny punchline though, you might.
yeah. So for me, with a lot of sensitive things or things that are hard to grasp at face value, I just hit them with jabs. Here's like bullet points, and then get them to the point. Like I do a lot of Christian jokes, but it's not in judgment. It's in like I don't get it kind of thing. And if I leave too much space, people in the crowd will start yelling out, trying to explain the thing that I don't get. But like that's not the point. Like I talk about like, oh, you have to like finger bang the fountain. Like when you go to a Catholic church, like, oh, you got to finger bang the fountain. And then if I leave it out too much, if I go, oh, what's the deal with that? Da, da, da. People will be like, oh, it's holy water. You got to do the thing. It's like, and then it just quickly becomes derailed. So for me, when it comes to sensitive topics, I do my best to like present and then move on. So that's um, with the Superman one. I don't know if you saw the video where, but it's like Superman's black, Batman's Asian, um, and then I kind of go into those points. So it's sometimes people want what they consider fair. It's like, oh, if you're going to talk about if you're going to talk about black people, I want you to talk about Asian people. If you talk about Asian people, I want you to talk about, blah, 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 blah. So I do my best to like just present in a way that is palatable for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. For me personally, I like fucking getting people a little riled up. Like that would be challenging to me if someone said that, like, kind of like making fun of their Catholicism in a smart way. Because it's not about judgment; it's about correcting people's false ideologies that they've been given by institutions that don't care about them, that have financial gains, that are literally giving them false history. So it's
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah, I get it. I kind of go with the premise of like I like the Dodgers. I don't like the Dodgers fans. So
Like
so
I care more about being my authentic self and seeing if people resonate with that than trying to be relatable. I feel like that's where I'm at.
so yeah, and I think that's like the artist in you, like for sure. And I think I'm more, I don't say businessman because that sounds icky, but I'm more like, I understand the business side of it, where and not like the dollars and cents as much as like the consumer side. So for me, I know that if you came to see me, you drew that on your calendar. You cross that off on your calendar and be like, oh, Lloyd's going to be in town on Saturday. So on Saturday, my one night off, this is what I'm going to do. I got to go get dressed. I got to take the wife out. We're going to go get a babysitter. We're going to go parking. 2 drink minimum, which actually is now a 4 drink minimum because there's 2 of us. And then maybe we get food, and maybe we get food afterwards. So this $25 ticket is now closer to $400. It's like, and on top of that, it's their one night out of all of the things that I have to do during the week. This is the night I have nothing to do, and I'm gonna go spend it with you. I want to give them value for that, not because it's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
business, but it's
But
like,
but if they're coming to see you, they already know your stuff, you know. So if they're like some people, that's why I got to be my. That's why I'm always myself right off the fucking bat. You can't switch. If you're gonna
right.
be really abrasive, you got to start like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there it's maybe this is old school, and I feel like it's not really, I don't know, but headliners, you've got an hour, right? So your whole first 40-ish minutes, you're ramping up, and then you plateau, let them calm down a little bit for 10, 15 minutes, and then you take it home. And I think that's kind of like the way I approach it. It's like you're gonna get to know me a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you, like, you're gonna see that, like, I see things kind of weirdly, but you're gonna give me that leeway, and then we're just gonna keep on ratcheting it up, and then because you can't just go all the way up. And then if you start here, the people that may not be on board, they're gonna fall off. So it's like, hey, let's all get into the water together. Let's crank up the temperature. Let's hang out for a little bit, and then let's take it home. So that was the way headliners always explained the pacing and how you pace your jokes.
Okay. Dude, I love too, like when Louis would take a joke that's super offensive, but he would warm you up to it. He was really
Yeah,
good at getting you on his side before he hits you with it. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's really it because we're tribal. Our brains are tribal, where it's like, I don't know you. I might not agree with anything. I know you. I might agree with everything. I like you. I will agree with fucking anything you say. And even if I don't agree with it, I'm gonna let you cook. Like, you have to get to the point where people go, I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm here for the ride. Like,
Yeah,
that is what you're
yeah.
creating the experience for, I think.
That's right. I just gravitate towards comedians that just fucking go at like Sam Tripoli. I love him. He doesn't
Yeah.
give a fuck if you agree with him. He just himself, and he's sometimes he hits, sometimes the audience doesn't like him, but and he just embraces that and makes it funny somehow, you know.
And I think that people like Sam Tripoli, so people who can sell out anywhere, like Louis C.K., people aren't accidentally showing up to a Sam
Yeah,
Tripoli show. You know,
yeah,
everyone
exactly.
everyone knows what they're getting when they go to a Sam Tripoli show. Respectfully, I don't, not disrespectfully, but like, Anthony Jeselnik, the way he doesn't offend anybody because everybody in the room knows what they're getting.
Exactly,
Everybody
exactly.
online be like, "Oh my god, that's so rude," because they just accidentally showed up to a Jesselneck clip. Um, but when we're doing fucking a 5-person, a 7-person showcase at the back of an IHOP, most of these people have no idea who we are, and it's like, let's not piss off the people that thought they wanted to be here.
Exactly. So, man, what year did you start comedy?
Fuck me. Hit me with the hard ones. Uh, 2011. Let's go with 2011.
Okay. And you started in LA or Vegas?
I started in LA. So LA, I did LA 5, 6 years. I left to DC. Was there for 4 years, and then went to Vegas after during the pandemic. I was there for 3 or 4 years, and then I came back here about a year or
Man,
two.
how did you like living in DC?
Are you familiar with DC?
I mean, I've been there a few times. I'm from New York originally.
I did not like it for a lot of
Yeah,
different
that's kind
reasons.
of what I was.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like it. I didn't like it because we literally watched it gentrify. In 4 years. We literally went. We watched it go from Chocolate City to suburbs, like, in front of our eyes, and it was just the craziest thing. The comedy scene is good there, but I felt like it was I didn't have a good experience, and that might be me, but it was also kind of the time and place. So uh, Vegas definitely was like kind of a palate cleanse for me.
Okay. Man, have you had like a journey with mental health or spirituality at all in your life that's affected your comedy?
Both.
Dude,
I feel like comedy affects my mental health and my spirituality every fucking day.
but what about vice versa though?
Um, yeah,
Where they
I think
affect your comedy?
yeah. I mean, my spirituality slash religion and my mental health is the basis in which that I write in is the place, the authentic place in which that I come from. Um, and I think that's kind of why I don't say like I'm not abrasive on stage. Because I understand that we're all dealing with different shit. I'm dealing with shit. If you want like rage comics, there's those are plenty. But for me, I like I like everyone to have a good time because I know I have to sit with that. You know.
Yeah, well, that's why I love comics that like go abrasive and at the end they tie it all together with like a beautiful, unifying, like philosophical thought. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I'm that talented. For me, you'll find the message within the joke. You know, and that is just be curious. Ted Ted Lasso. There's an episode where he's playing darts, and the moral of the story is like just be curious, ask questions. So when I write, I'm asking questions. When I'm in on stage, I'm asking questions because I'm curious. Like, not more than just who's married or like that. Like I'm asking questions because I want to get to know the people. And I want people to feel seen because I know what it feels like to not be seen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I also think like some people, even the music business, people thought I was preachy because I want to get my mission across, and I don't give a
Mm-hmm.
shit what the beer companies want me to do or whatever. So I've always been super focused in that way, but I think
Is
like
that does your spirituality drive your comedy, drive your career?
yeah, it drives my life. And I don't even think it's spirituality. It's just realizing that it's kind of just like quantum physics, man. Just realizing that we're all connected on a consciousness level, that we literally all come from the same source. And this literally is a matrix. It's literally been proven to be a digital. I mean, it's not, there is a 5D, I mean, there's a whole nother fucking world. There's so many frequencies that we can't tap into. Did you know that music was actually started in the frequency, like the Bach music, even imagined by John Lennon? It was in a different frequency that made you calm on a cellular level. The new frequency, the 440 hertz for the A, gets you on a cellular level. It's been proven in science to fuck you up, to get you really anxious. So like
Interesting.
all of the frequency is so powerful, man. It can heal so many diseases.
I was watching something online, which doesn't really narrow it down, but they're talking about cathedrals, like the old ancient cathedrals, the basilicas, the windows, the circle patterns and stuff. Those are all visualized frequencies,
Oh wow.
where like when you look at it and it's like this arch and there's like this big circle and it's got these little round windows and stuff like that. If you look at it, it's all broken down into frequency. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, have you seen that the plate that they put on top of a speaker? They put dirt on it and they change the frequency and
Oh
the
yeah,
dirt.
yeah, yeah. It's freaking wild.
Basically, think of that. They put to a certain frequency. They look at the dirt and they go, "We're gonna make a window that looks just like that. This is gonna go up there." That's what they did, basically.
I think my biggest mission with my comedy, man, is just to get people. That's why I like to be abrasive because I want people, but I also want to like bring it to a human level where people just can realize that we're all connected and that the world's not as fucking bad as the fucking news says it is. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's like I want people to leave going like, "Fuck, that was funny," and you know what? The world's not as fucked up. You know what I mean? It wasn't as fucked up as I thought it was before.
Yeah, I've realized in my life that people will only accept the things that they think that they thought of. Like you can
Yeah,
you
man, that's
could
people's ego. That's just the wrong audience. That's people. That's ego-centered people, man. Once you start
yeah.
connecting with more spirit-connected people, I feel like I don't. You know, what I mean, I'm not a rule guy. I've never been a rule guy
Mm,
because if I followed the rules, I never would have got anything done.
mm. And I think that's where I'm on the opposite end. Like I love to build. Yeah, I love to
Raising your
know. I love
hand.
to know the rules so I can break the rules. Like I know where
But
the rules
sometimes,
are.
sometimes you have to make your own rules and then break them.
Right. But to go gallivanting around and not know the path, like not know where the rules are, it's like I might not respect these rules. I'm not even listening, but at least I know they're over there and I'm like in this wandering no man's land. Like you don't want to be walking around a desert and not know you don't know you're in a desert. That if that makes any sense. That might be a little abstract. But like at least I know the mile markers. Be like, oh, this rule is here and I know why the rule's here, but I'm going to disregard it because of XYZ. And then I'm going to go this far away from it as opposed to just wandering around the
But
wilderness.
I just
And
mean
I
like paths. Like most people think there's path A and B, and they don't even see C because it's over
right,
here. You know what I mean?
right. And I think that's kind of I think that's what I was trying to say was like I like to see the paths so then I can make my own path versus
Yeah.
again just like wandering around like a child and just assume I don't know. I'm going way too abstract, but I like to know the rules so therefore I can decisively break the rules that I want to break. If that makes also, I want to know the rules because I want to know what everybody else is following. You know, like
Yeah.
if you know everyone's got to face this way, you know everyone's facing that way, and you go, okay, here are all the law abiders. I just uh observational, and that's like a lot of the things. Like I know how a special is made. I know how it's filmed. I know the thought process behind it, but I decided to break most of those rules because that was best for me. But I know the rules. I know, and the rules help me form my decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, you hear the siren? Someone got murdered in LA, I feel like.
So yes, somebody definitely got murdered in LA. Like, did someone get
Hey,
murdered
we were
outside your
here.
house?
We were here. We were here.
I think they say like somebody gets murdered like every 12 minutes or something in LA. Like, yeah.
Jesus.
So what is your path? Where are you going in comedy? What is your next steps? Like you're booking crazy amount of shows. Like what's your end
I,
game?
there is no end game. My mind, because I'm not doing this to get satisfaction out of it. I'm doing it because I really want to do it. So it's like I'm just living in the now. I think just always being in the now and not worrying about the next step is always being able to adapt every day, do something
Mm,
different, not getting in a
mm-hmm.
routine. You know, like what I mean, I just started this podcast like overnight and started getting really cool guests. I'm just flowing with it, man. Like not trying to overthink it, not trying to think about the future, trying to lock into the fact that time's not real and that everything you want is already there in another timeline and you can really access that mentality if you try. You know
How much psychedelics do you do?
what I mean? Dude, it's have you not meditated ever? Have you never had a meditation that's so deep that it takes you out of yourself?
No, I will say I meditate often, but to get to that like Nirvana esque direction, I have never
Like
gotten that
literally to the
into.
point where you can drop your heart rate, you know, where you really dive into your consciousness.
So with meditation, I've been able to lower my heart rate. Like I can control the controllables, but as far as like the psychedelic portion of it, I've never gotten there. I've gotten psychedelics through psychedelics, but I've never been able to. Like I want to do depth tanks. Like that sounds great. Like I feel like that's where I
Because
would want to
I
go.
feel because psychedelics and weed and stuff, it's not a secret. Like it's just a tool. Like you need to do the inner work. You need to fucking
Mm,
do the therapy. You know what I mean? You
mm,
really have to
mm, mm.
dive into yourself. I feel like even a lot of big comics, they get famous too fast, where they're funny enough to be famous, but they're not. They didn't work out their inner shit, so a lot of scandals start coming out, and a lot of weird shit starts coming out. You know what I mean? Like I feel like in the music business, I wasn't as mature as I am now. I feel like I have a way more positive and healthy perspective on everything. As far as what do you mean? What was that?
No, it's great. No, it's great. That's
Oh,
me applauding you.
okay.
That's like that.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
the sign language for
Uh,
clapping?
no, this is clapping. There's like applaud in sign language, but I
Okay.
was just poetry. Like because in poetry, as you're talking, you don't want to clap. You just want to like let them know that you appreciate it without distraction.
I thought you were trying to do the jerk. You ever see the jerk with Steve Martin?
Yeah, yeah.
I was born a black child, you know, and
Yeah.
he's trying to snap
Snap.
to the black music. It's
Yeah.
just so off.
So when you go to like poetry readings or any kind of like TED talk, or whatever, and without making an applause break, people will snap, and that's like their quiet applause, not to fuck up your pacing or your tone, but me doing this fucked up your pacing and tone. So yeah, that fucked up.
But yeah, I feel like I spent a lot of years the last couple in between the transition, the big transition from music to comedy, just working on myself, and I feel like that's like the biggest part, man, because then because a lot of people, when you start coming into an industry that you haven't been in, a lot of artsy people in the genre like get protective, like who the fuck is this guy? Like a lot of people shit on the Kill Tony people, a lot of like older comics, because they don't like that now you can go this way. Like they had to go this way, so everyone else needs to do what I need to do. And that's just not the human experience,
So yes, and I'm in that weird gap between like I started in 2011. So
Like
YouTube.
for example, Billy Corgan, my favorite songwriter, Smashing
Mhm.
Pumpkins, he did a poetry book. It was amazing, but all the poets fucking hated on and shit on because he's not part of the clique. You know what I mean?
So I'll give you this. Um, so like I said, I started in 2011. I'm sort of in that gap between the internet age and the old school age, and all the old school mentors, which is like just be funny, everything will work itself out. And you take that to heart, but then you see these people getting famous on Instagram or YouTube or whatnot, and now you look at any comedy club, and it's mostly influencers. It's like 4 or 5 legit comics, headliners, and then kind of just Instagram influencers. And I think that one portion, especially in this business, is like you don't have to be good; you just have to sell tickets. So the Kill Tony road, I get why people don't. I get why people are drawn to it. It's like, oh, all I gotta do is a hot minute and I'll be famous. That's great. But we as comics that have been doing it for a long time know that we've seen so many people that get famous for a 5 minute bit, and now tomorrow they get booked to do an hour, and they don't have it.
Yeah.
You know,
I
we
see
see
that a
it,
lot with movie stars that try to be stand-ups when they literally have no material.
but they can sell tickets because they're the guy from that movie. Let's go
Yeah.
see that guy, and they just
Yeah.
fucking crash and burn.
I've
And
literally seen comics just go up there and just say their punchlines from movies. That's all they did.
Jesus. So you and coming from the old school, we would see these people like I don't know, I don't want to name names, whatever, but we'll see something like, oh, that's the guy from that show, dope, and then they'll open for them and then just bury them, and then the guy goes up there and he's like, I think that's actually what happened with Michael Richards, Kramer. I believe someone goes, oh, I'm on before Kramer, great, and then fucking buries him. And then he goes up there and he's like trying to do the Kramer, and nobody gives a fuck. And then people are talking, and then he was just eating dick, and then just blows up. So it's not uncommon for old school guys to go, oh, you're new, you're an influencer, fuck you, and then just tear the house down in front of you.
Well, didn't Michael Richards also? I know it was crazy what happened, but didn't he blow up on those people? Weren't they talking the entire fucking show?
Yeah, not the entire, because at the Laugh Factory, I don't think he was headline. I think he was just doing a set, and the guy before him, from what I heard, was like he buried him, like tore the house down because he
Oh,
knew.
but so the guy talking in the audience wasn't talking during that guy's set.
I don't think so. Well,
Okay, okay,
because if you're tearing down the house,
yeah,
it's really hard for the next people because everybody's like pumped, everyone's excited, so it makes sense that the people were talking because the guy before him was fucking hilarious and you are not. But
yeah.
needless to say, that may not have been the right scenario, but it happens all the time where, oh, you're famous, fuck you, and just make it. That's why a lot of headliners don't want to bring really really good comics with them. It's because they just don't want to have to work that hard every night. Like
Yeah.
you'll see it. Like this headliner has this guy. That doesn't make any sense. This guy's horrible. But yeah. He doesn't want to get buried every night. He doesn't want to do the work.
Oh yeah, musicians do the same thing. They make the opener like a little quieter with the decibels, and they give them you know what I mean? They make it sound like not as fucking full as the
Yeah,
main act.
yeah. Oh, you do folk? Great. You're just you and acoustic? Come on, tour with me. And then yeah, that's part of it. So I think I don't know what we are saying, but what I did
But
want
hold
to
on, but
say,
you've never delved into like a spiritual side though that doesn't include psychedelics. Like your only experiences with like a different realm was only through psychedelics. I feel like it's a tool at first, but then it can kind of open up a whole fucking gateway.
yeah, I so psychedelics were the gateway that got me to a different side of spirituality. I grew up in a church. I've done a very religious journey, so I've studied a lot of the different religions, and I've chosen my religion specifically because that's what I've chosen. But as far as psychedelics, yeah, LSD, mushrooms. That's how I get there. I meditate every day, 20-30 minutes, but it
Do you
seems to be
meditate on the beach?
no, no, no.
Oh, dude, that would be badass.
Yeah, no. But when fucking, I don't like outdoors. I go outside. I don't like it. I come back. All my stuff's inside. Why would I want to be outside? Everything I own is inside.
Mitzi, you said you're not stereotypical like an Asian comedian, but is your family generally accepting and supportive?
Yeah.
And your friends that are Asian?
Um, yeah. I mean, my family is just happy that they're not supporting me. Like, legitimately, I joke about this. Like, my mom is just happy that I'm not living at her house. Like,
That's good, yeah.
um, I'm not the sibling that's asking for money or fucking has it's fucked up. So yeah, they're as long as I toe that company line, they're perfectly fine with it. I moved out of my house at 19. I moved cross country at 26. So my family doesn't really factor into a lot of my day-to-day decisions. And as far as my friends, yeah, most of my friends are successful and they are jealous of me for being able to pursue my passions. So it's
Dude,
interesting.
it's like that Morrissey song, man. We don't like when our friends get successful, and it's so fucking true for a lot of people who, I mean, if they haven't come into their own, they get fucking mad at people that are coming into their own. You know what I mean?
Well, I think culturally, especially my Asian friends, their destination was point out very, very early. Oh, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, like as a young child. So they work their way towards it. That they get there, and it's very unfulfilling because what's crazy about a destination is once you get to the destination, it's like, oh, this is just the beginning of my journey now. Like, I got to the destination, now I got to be a doctor for 30 years. Like, that's depressing. Um, but they get to see me and they kind of go, oh, this is all you do? Like, that's crazy. Um, I think the human condition generally is unhappy with where you are and see happiness in other people and want and are
Yeah.
predisposed to want that. So but it's hard for me to see them crying in their Ferrari or what in their $1 million homes. Like, I don't have any empathy for you on this one.
I feel like intention is everything though. I remember there was a podcast or two comedians were talking. I don't want to name them, but they one was kind of shitting on the other one because he just wants to do something big, always a stadium, then an arena. It has to keep going bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's fine if your intention is pure and you're just having fun along the way. But if you're doing it because you don't have fulfillment in your inner fucking spirit and you're trying to get these external things that are never going to fill you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's why, like, I think it's so important for people to do therapy and fucking come into their
Amen.
own before they actually put work out into the world, you know?
Yeah. I mean, mental health is I'm a huge proponent of it. You gotta work on the foundation first, and I think you see it a lot in comedy where just people go, I was dating, and or whatever it is, and they just come out like sounding like a piece of shit, and
Yeah.
they don't
Oh,
know it.
and I hate when a comedian comes off, they're acting like they don't care, but you can tell you're bothering them. You're getting to them on an emotional level. A comic shouldn't get defensive like that, like personally. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's different if they're doing a bit. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I think mental health is definitely super important. I didn't find mental health or therapy until I was almost 40. So uh,
What kind of therapy does he do? Just talk therapy?
yeah, talk therapy. I'm not huge on medication.
Oh,
One
me
doc.
neither. Me neither.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like,
I
oh, you
did.
should do Prozac, and I was like,
Well, I did do the ketamine therapy. That's kind of what started it for me. That's legal here.
interesting.
And man, it kind of just rewires your neurotransmitters in your brain so you can it sticks with you, man. It's not like you got to do it every day. You got to do it once a month. You got to do it. Literally just doing the package, fucking, you're good for months. You have a completely new mindset, you know.
Can you microdose ketamine?
That's what I was doing.
You're just microdosing.
Well, no, I haven't done it in a while, but when I did the therapy, it was small doses, but you still can't leave the
Oh,
house. You have to fucking
uh,
close your eyes and meditate and shit. But like you can microdose mushrooms and go walk around,
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
ketamine, even when you microdose it, it's a anesthesiac. It puts you out. It
Oh,
makes
okay.
it make you wouldn't be able to walk.
So I guess ketamine. Okay, like how long are you out? Like how long are you on the couch with a with
Well,
a dose of
it
ketamine?
depends how much you take, but it's only like an hour or two.
Oh, okay,
But
that's not horrible.
but then the come down could be another hour or two.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha. Yeah,
I
because
like
like
I like mushrooms better, man. It's just organic. But the ketamine therapy really helped me though. I mean, it was a different type of therapy because I don't believe in any of those SSIs. I mean, they do way more damage than they do good, and they're addicting.
yeah. I did LSD first, and
That's what I did in college. It opened up a whole world, but I still
um,
didn't really. I still thought it was a fantasy world. Like I was like, that
yeah,
was just
yeah,
me on a
yeah, yeah,
drug. And
yeah,
then I
yeah.
realized, no, it's not me on a drug. Some of these softer psychedelics actually are a portal into another dimension.
Yeah, LSD for me was very much like stepping out Wizard of Oz. Everything's color, it was all these amazing things, but I did, like you said, feel like, oh, this world doesn't exist. This is drug world. It just was like way too much, way too unfamiliar. But then I started doing mushrooms and it was like, oh no, this is all normal stuff that you just don't recognize on a daily basis. And so I
Yes.
do mushrooms, you go, oh, okay, all of these things exist in Kansas versus like fucking the Wizard of Oz. Like none of this shit. It was just too much of a jump for me for LSD, but I learned so much about myself.
Well, LSD lasts like 14 hours compared to
Yeah,
just a few on mushrooms.
yeah,
But my favorite part of
yeah,
LSD was the come down after it wears off, where it's coming down, where you kind of have like a whole fucking life review, where you kind of meditate on your whole fucking life. That was fun. But I didn't really know what I was doing in college. I thought it was just like, and some people would scare me, like, oh, I know people that fucking lose their minds. It's like, I think most people's minds are already lost. I think
lost.
most people's minds they're
well,
gone, man.
to that point, to that very specific point,
Like,
I
did you
feel
see that
like
famous video of that kid? Sorry to cut you off. That kid who in the 70s is like, I found LSD, and he tells his mom that he sees God in everything. And she's like, you're only supposed to see God when you die. So I sent him
yeah,
to a psych ward.
yeah. No, like sober, right? You're sober. Sober is like a weird word where it's like
Well,
sober.
drug is a weird word too. That's an umbrella for everything, but it doesn't
Sure.
include the fucking the fucking pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like we use sober. Sober is a word to define being normal. Like shouldn't sober just be normal? Like sober shouldn't exist,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
normal. Like I'm drunk or I'm normal, and I feel like that is yeah. It's like so weird that we use words that shouldn't exist. Like again, like sober, like fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. But generally, what were we talking about?
You sound like
Fuck.
me now.
Yeah, so I feel like mushrooms. I go, oh, this is the way it should be. Like this is not psychedelics. This is normal. Like all I did was
Well,
eat a plant, and this is
I
what
had
I
a,
see.
I had a crazy trip one time because it wasn't a trip, but I like microdosing. I don't really like doing heroic doses anymore. You know what I mean?
Hmm, hmm,
I'm
hmm.
past that. I just like microdosing, walking around nature. And the big study came out a couple months ago that plants and trees are sentient beings. They
Yes.
can literally see your t-shirt, they can hear you, they can feel you. And so I tripped a little bit and I walked around and I literally was communicating the fucking trees. I know it sounds crazy, but that's more real than, oh, what fucking sports team is on the TV? It's more real than that. You know what I mean? Like that shit is
If you
sports is
do,
completely fixed.
do you dive into any kind of native folklore, whether it be Native American or any kind of ethnic peoples like folklore?
Yeah, but again, I think
Hold on.
that's a way of labeling it. No, not particularly.
Okay. And the reason why I ask is this is because when you're talking about trees, there are a lot of native cultures that believe that knew what you're saying way before there were studies. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah. So
a lot of people will like pigeonhole you, like, oh, Native American. Like a lot of different cultures believe that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, what I mean native, I guess the word I was looking for is indigenous, because what I meant was, but indigenous people, whether it be here, the Philippines, Southeast
Okay.
Asia, wherever, but like the old knowledge. And I say this because in the Philippines, I'm not Filipino. My wife is, and she kind of takes me through this journey. But like when you walk under trees, you ask for not forgiveness, but permission. Like, oh, apologies,
Mm,
like, excuse me, sorry, and because and you don't
mm.
touch trees. You don't touch trees. You don't touch trees that don't want you to touch them. And it's like if you do, you ask for permission. You ask, and
Mm. And it's crazy
it's
though that when you do touch trees, though, all the positive, like it literally helps your oxygen levels, your heart rate, your blood flows better.
And I think that you're tapping into ancient knowledge, because
Yes,
this
yeah, ancient
this
knowledge. Like yes,
because this tree might be 100 years old, but it's connected to hundreds of trees that are hundreds of years old, that were connected with trees that were 100 years older than that. And then so yeah, I feel that we didn't most people didn't need a study to tell them these things about trees and like plants and
oh,
stuff
I
like that.
know, I know. It's
Yeah.
just cool that these studies aren't suppressed anymore. People can finally. I feel like we needed COVID for people to go. Maybe something not is not right here, you
I,
know.
I feel, and this is maybe the religious side of me, where you go, oh, if you needed science to prove a thing, then you didn't believe to begin with. So, like, if you before you read the studies, you touch a tree and go, eh,
Exactly.
whatever, and then you read the study, and go, oh, and then you go touch a tree, and then you feel
Yeah.
it. It's like, oh, you didn't actually feel it. You just your brain is
Hmm.
so. Uh, and then so for you, you touch the tree, and you go, oh my god, and you know all of these things now.
Mm.
You read the study, and you go, yeah, I fucking knew that. That is more truth than someone who like I don't know. I just I'm losing my words. You're making me speechless there. But
Dude, when I started doing comedy and I was microdosing on mushrooms, I was literally seeing things happen and then they would happen in real life the next day.
so when I took LSD, I went through 4 or 5 different renditions of my life. One of them, the most notable one, was so we were on the beach and the waves were coming, right? And we could hear the waves. And I felt like
Hmm.
every time the wave hit, I had jumped into a different reality. And the reality that stuck the most was uh, I was on the beach. I was a beach bum. I'd been there for like 5 or 10 years. My brain had been broken. And my wife, my now wife, would come in and check in on me every so often and bring me food. And a pizza was there. I don't remember who got the pizza, but I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh my god, my wife loves me, but she knows that I'm broken, and she just comes in and checks on me periodically because she can't live with me like this. And then the wave hit again, and I was somewhere else, and then it changed, but that stuck with me so real that I was like, oh my god, like psychedelics is a path to get me to different realities.
I think the strongest thing is because way before I did psychedelics, I didn't even smoke weed till I was like 21 because I thought it was fucking, I was parent, you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
had a
you're a
bad
fucking
connotation
loser.
with exactly, and then I realized, who the fuck the loser really is. But when I was a kid, after my dad passed away, I would have these vivid fucking spiritual dreams that
Mm.
when I did psychedelics, I was like, oh shit, those dreams were different. They weren't what you had for dinner. They were fucking because you astral project all the time when you fucking dream, man. You're in
Yeah,
another fucking world.
I'm getting better, stronger at right before I go to bed to like envision all the things that I want.
Mm.
And um,
Yeah, manifestation's so powerful, man.
right before you sleep. And like I know that if I do it well enough, I actually have dreams that I remember. I
Mm.
go through every night. I close my eyes, and then I wake up. It's the morning. Like that is how I dream. But when I actually manifest in my mind before I go to bed, I actually have dreams. And that was like once I started doing that, I was like, oh, there's really something in this manifestation visualization.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to think it was just, I mean, I didn't think it was hoo-ha, but like I didn't see it. I never had it happen to me, and then I started having personal experiences or like, holy shit, I actually manifested that. Like I've been thinking about it so much, it actually happened in reality.
And I thought it was like, oh, it's not that I manifested it, but I've been thinking about it so much that I had planned it all out, and I through the thinking, through the planning, had made it happen. But now I'm like, oh no, manifestations is like it's a different frequency.
Yes, yes.
I had a hard time when I first started doing it. Uh, I had a hard time visualizing more than a second at a time, a second at a time. It's like, oh, think of yourself on stage. You go, okay, and I just couldn't think of like the walk up and then getting on stage and then doing a set. But now it's like now I'm getting stronger where it's like I wake in my mind, I wake up, I can feel the sheets, I can feel, I can taste the coffee, I can, get in the car, I'm feeling the clicking, and then I get to the event and I can hear the crowd. So now it's like because I couldn't do it well before, it's like, oh, this is a skill set that I have to be able to like be better at. And I've been just working on even the little things. What is my clothes gonna feel like? What is the coffee gonna taste like? What is the waiting room gonna look like? What is the music that I'm gonna be brought up to? Like
Yeah.
where are the people? Stuff like that, where I'm literally putting pieces together what I couldn't do a few months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it too. A lot of comedians focus so much on the jokes and how they're going to be perceived by the audience, but they don't focus enough on their energy. Like they just
Yeah,
come up with just shitty energy, and the audience is like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" You know what I mean? Like the second you hit the stage, that energy it has to be something. No matter what it is. If you're like a lazy kind of energy comic or I mean whatever it is, but you got to just lock in immediately.
there's just a lot of shitty people out there, and some of them just happen to get into comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And like especially when we do open mics, and I'm trying to tell a lot of younger comics, it's like, no, you
Who's some of your
should.
favorite comics in LA that are like on that do open mics with us and that do shows with us?
I am not good at networking. I'm not because there's a lot of shitty. I've been doing it for so long, and there's a lot of shitty people, right? First of all, there's a
Yeah.
lot of shitty people, and then there's a lot of comics that you'll see today and you'll never see ever again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I do my best to like make myself available, but also keep to myself. So it's kind of that weird. But um, what I was saying was that as far as like comics, and there's a few, but you have to surround yourself with really really good comedy, and that's
Yeah.
like sure you might be able to get five mics tonight, but one of them should be go to a set at the improv, not the open mic, but like professionals. You can't.
Oh, dude, that's one thing these comics don't understand. Like, I'm coming into the comedy game with over 10,000 comedy shows under my belt as a consumer.
Whew,
Like,
yeah,
like, like, literally, it was my life. Even when I was in the music business, I would skip fucking right to see Louis C.K. at the Bridgestone Arena and fucking Zany to see freaking whoever it was.
yep, yep.
Doug Benson back when he was relevant.
There's a lot of comics that you could tell don't watch good comedy.
Yeah. Well, and I hate the comics that there's some comics that refuse to watch other comics because they don't want to be told that they have a bit that's similar to their bit. They're like, fuck it, but you should watch other people's comedy so your comedy's more original. You know what I mean?
That, but also like if you aren't surrounding yourself with comedy, then why are you doing it? Because if you become successful at comedy, you're going to be surrounding yourself with comedy. Like you're
Dude, I knew so many musicians that were musicians, but they only listened to their own music. I've never heard them listen to an actual artist. Is that not like
yeah,
egomaniac?
yeah. And I watch a lot of comedy, a lot of good comedy. I watch,
Like I think the
and
best comics are comedian fans first and then comics second.
yeah, you have to because you have to know what's out there. You have to know like I'll watch a show that I'm not on, and you go, oh, that bit didn't work, and then now I'm trying to figure out why that bit didn't work. Is it the topic or like, oh, that's a topic. People respond to that topic. That's weird. I should put that in my toolbox. But
Well, and
you
a
keep
lot of it's following your instinct too, because a joke can land one night, not land the next night, and it might not be because your delivery. You might have just had an audience that was particular to not like that joke.
and I tell comics this all the time. It's a numbers game, right? Baseball. 162 games a year. You're getting up to about 400, 500 times in a season. Like, yeah, you might struck out 5 times in one game, but that's only one game. Like, you bomb today doesn't mean your material doesn't work. Like, you have to do your material so many times where that one time it bombs, you're like, I don't know what happened, and you just move on because you know the other 100 times you've done it, it kills. But we're fucked up. We're fucked up in the brain where all we could think about is that one night it didn't work. It's weird.
See, that's why what excites me. I know we talked about this when I first met you. What excites me when Louis C.K. sometimes he would go on stage with zero material, and he knew he was going to bomb, and he did it purposely because he was too tired of killing it. He wanted to see what can grow, what new joke could grow out of just fucking bombing on purpose. And
Yep.
he ended up getting
Yep.
like 3 amazing fucking bits out of doing that like 10 nights in a row, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But
And a lot of times with me, I go if I'm working on own material, I don't do the material the way it's supposed to or the way that it's supposed to do. I'll start in the middle somewhere. I'll try to get my. I'll start with my closer. I'll try to do it backwards. Like not backwards, but like the bits, backwards. Like, and I'll just start, especially at the if I'm working on material that I know generally works, but I can't get it to work the way I want it to, then I start playing games. Start in the middle. Start with your closer. Start somewhere else. Do these jokes differently, and it makes your brain think harder,
yeah.
and you find you go, oh, I don't even like that bit. What because I wanted to do, I actually wanted to say this, and it just helps you find it.
I want to ask you one last question. So, like, there's a lot of comics that are in the middle politically, and then there's some that are on the right and the left, and a lot of ones that are in the middle get labeled as the right by the left. But what I've noticed is a lot of people on the right will work with everybody, but there's some people that are completely on the left. They won't even do a show with a comic that supported for Trump, for example, or something like that. Isn't that kind of crazy?
It's not good business.
It's just stupid. Yeah, exactly. Especially when they're just what's that word when you want other people to uh, fucking see how good you're fucking being of a person.
Virtual signaling.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what it fucking is.
Um, yeah, I would say, uh, I mean, religion and politics are generally the things that you should avoid generally, but you have to be really, really good at them in order to breach them. Like you can't just have I supported Trump, and that can't be. It's got to go somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that if you're just going to virtual signal, I don't want to do a show because he voted for Trump. It's like, well, work is going to be really fucking slow for you. You know, that's like you own a product. You want to sell the product, but you refuse to sell it at Target. It's like Target's got whatever 12,000 stores, and you're gonna put, but it's not about the money. It's about okay, that's on you. I don't. Isn't that goal to start a business is to sell a thing? Well, you're a comic. Your goal is to do comedy. I don't know.
You
I,
said
I I stopped trying to figure out other comics because either I'm the crazy one or they're the crazy one, but either way, we're not going to meet in the middle.
is the Black Superman the only joke that kind of gets like a hostile reaction sometimes?
Um, the Catholic joke. I do a bit about Catholic Church, like just being like the fish out of water, like not understanding Catholicism. Some people
Mm.
get bent out of arms, get up in arms and bent out of shape. That's what I was trying to say. Uh, and there's other ones. I have a dog, a dog adoption one that is more.
I kind of, I kind of want to hear the premise.
It's like adopting a dog is expensive and it shouldn't be. Is basically the premise, because you know it's a pound. You're getting a dog from a pound. Why is it so expensive? That's generally the premise, but people don't like it because
Yeah, but
um,
because dogs are basically your slave, though. That's why you're paying for them. You got to pay for your slave.
so
Who
so
wasn't it Bill Burr that made that big comparison that slavery that dogs are basically
yeah.
fucking against their will. They're like you're fucking.
So more or less the premise is like, oh, who saved who? Well, I saved it. Did you really? And it's like, yeah, I got it from a kill shelter. Like people don't like to admit that dogs are gonna get killed if you don't adopt them, but also
Yeah.
people don't realize it's gonna cost you $300 to adopt a dog. Like it doesn't make sense, but people get upset because they don't want to think about dogs dying when in actuality dogs are dying every fucking day in these shelters. So
Dude, I have a whole bit about how a lot of girls get more mad when a dog dies in a fucking movie than when their fucking uncle dies in real life, you know? Like they get so
yeah,
fucking like how could the director do it? Like what about life? How could life fucking do it? Like everyone you've ever loved, you know?
yeah, I think people get upset about what they think the premise is because they didn't hear what the actual premise actually is. Like
No,
they
but
didn't.
I think but your mind also don't know the difference between fake and reality. So when you see a dog die in a movie, your brain thinks a dog's really dying in real life. You don't realize it's a
Oh
fucking
yeah.
actor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, there's a whole thing about script writing. It's called Save the Cat, and that's basically like Save the Cat, Save the Dog, where it's like people will die. You've murdered 400 henchmen, but you have to save the cat. You have to save the dog because if that
yeah.
dog dies, people, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, but there's a whole premise. There's a book called Save the Cat, and it's basically how to write a script where you save the cat, basically.
Oh fuck yeah, man.
It, it,
Have you
it's
had
it's a whole movie. It's like a whole movie trope.
Oh wow. Have you ever done acting lessons too? Have you ever done like acting coaching or
Yeah. I when I moved to LA, I came here for acting back in 2006, and being an Asian male straight actor did not go well back then. It doesn't go well now. Let's be very clear. It doesn't go well now, but it went even worse back then.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you being on here, man. It's this is
Yeah, this is great.
my third vodcast, and you know, hopefully a lot more to come.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, man. I can't wait to see you, and I can't
Yeah,
wait. You know, what am I booked? 4 shows, 3 shows already? Like this, is just
yeah.
fucking
Let's shout
amazing.
that out. So it's May 29th,
Yep,
June 16th, and June 27th.
fucking amazing. And you got bangers, and you're like in leaving in closing. You're doing it the right way. You know, you're booking shows, you're booking the people you want to be with, you're putting together great lineups. It's going to be a great show, and you're doing it the right way. So, congratulations. My hat goes off to you.
Thanks, man. Well, I can't wait for you to be on it. I hope you do the Black Superman joke.
Okay, for you, you know what? Let me write that down. Black Superman joke is a must. Got it.
I mean,
Done and
you
done.
could even blackface it and come as Superman.
I will probably not do that. The data points are out there. That doesn't work.
The data points the other way on that one.
Yeah. Survey says no. All right, brother.
All right,
I
brother.
appreciate your time. Take care of yourself. Bye.
Have a good day, man. Peace.